Good morning. My name is Isaac Castro, and I'm honored to serve as the interim minister of this congregation, and my pronouns are he, him. Welcome to our service. In this space, we celebrate our humanity, our diversity, and the boundless love that unites us all. The Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix strives to be a spiritual community for our time, one that is theologically diverse, radically inclusive, and justice-centered. Our doors swing wide to embrace all who seek a welcoming place. May our worship today be a source of inspiration, a comfort in challenging times, and a call to action. If you are new here, a lovely welcome to you. We encourage you to come back several times as our services are different each week.
And I'm Benji Messer, music director. I use he, him pronouns as well. We generally don't pass out hymnals anymore, and we often don't sing from them. But today, everything we're singing is from one of those books from the Teal hymnal. So, if you feel like reading the notes, you're always welcome to grab them on your way in. But we will put all the lyrics up on the projector as well. And we start with the first song in that Teal hymnal, Morning Has Come. Feel free to stand in body or stand in spirit if you'd rather stay seated.
Good morning. I'm Sam Kirkland. I'm your worship associate today, and my pronouns are he and him. Join me as we recite our covenant and Nancy Bujol. Lights our chalice. She's a first-time chalice lighter. Together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to share our strength in fellowship, thus do we covenant. Before you sit down, please wave to our folks on Zoom and take a moment to turn around and smile at your neighbors. You may be seated.
Sadly, we are lighting a memorial candle in honor of the death of a beloved member. It is with sadness that we share the news of the passing of Ann Jackal, a beloved member of our community since 1969. Ann died on Friday, January 2nd, after just going to the cardiologist for some swelling on December 31st. She was 96 years old, and she died surrounded by family members. Ann always wore a big smile and was slight in nature, but big in spunk. She will be very missed. Ann wishes were to have a service here at UUCP and to be interred in the memorial garden. We are still finalizing details for the service, but we are fairly certain it will be Sunday, January 25th in the afternoon. We'll share information in Compass next week with the details. It is our practice to light memorial candles. I hope you join me in having a moment of silence and remembering Ann Jackal right now. Thank you all. I have a few announcements. First, I want to welcome Gary Ezzell to our pulpit this morning. He's giving our sermon today. Yay. And also want to let you know there is programming for children's ministry today from 12 to 1. The membership team is removing unused name tags from our tangled name tag wall. If you hang up your name tag and it does not already have a small dot on the back, please put it in the basket by the wall or in the Johnson room. Now that the holidays are over, we can focus on the need for big changes of direction in our state government. Today at noon in the sanctuary, your civic engagement team will train you to become a laptop warrior who speaks out to the Arizona legislature. Stick around and see how this powerful system works. This is also the final Sunday to submit a survey around upcoming conversation dates regarding our memorial garden sculptures. We have QR codes in the back, and I'll be back there with Glenn Lockwood with our laptops to help folks submit surveys if you need assistance. And I want to invite Mike Gaterna up for an important Hearts in Harmony announcement.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Mike Gatorna. I use the he, him pronouns. Believe it or not, Valentine's Day is just over a month off, and I have a Valentine's Day proposal for you that's meaningful, joyful, and won't break the bank. Join us for Hearts in Harmony with Love at the Center, UUCP's Valentine's Day dinner auction on Friday, February 14th. Doors open at 5 p.m. for an evening designed to nourish both the heart and the community. And it's an affordable alternative to the crowded, expensive Valentine's Day restaurants. The night includes a sit-down dinner by our own Rachel Gotting of Love Grows Here Cafe. Yes, sir. And it's followed by an energetic live auction hosted by stalwart auctioneers Duke Plattner and Sam Kirkland. The live auction experience is at least half as fun as the whole evening. And for those of you that have experienced it before, you know what I talk about. Additionally, our online silent auction opens at midnight February 1st, making it easy to bid from anywhere whether or not you're in attendance in person or from home or from a vacation somewhere. You can also bid from your dinner table while enjoying chef's delicious cuisine. On the screen behind me, yes, will also be displayed, I'm sorry, I skipped ahead. On the screen behind me, where did is a shot of the webpage header. Notice the registration macro. If and when you decide to attend, please select registration and fill out the form and hit submit. You must be registered to participate in the auctions. We also need to know how much to thin the soup with water in order to feed everybody. Right? And don't worry, we take last-minute walk-ups too. They'll be registered at the table in the church lobby before you go in on the night of the event. There will be folks at the table to help you with getting registered. Congregational generosity is at the heart of this event. Donations and participation are the primary ways Hearts in Harmony raises funds in support of our beloved UUCP community. The time is now. Notice the donate button to my far left on the blue header. Select it and choose live auction form to be filled out and submitted. Here's some suggestions which are also listed on the auction webpage. Hosted dinners, hikes, boat trips, camping, travel, local, statewide, national, and game nights. Now, truth be told, our silent auction catalog is nearly full, and I still have a few more items in the wings to enter. So please focus on what you can do with the your live auction donations. That would be appreciated. The Hearts in Harmony webpage is now live on the church webpage and available in Compass newsletter. This will be a Valentine's evening to remember. It really will. And finally, there's an email contact link at the bottom of the auction webpage for any questions you may have. Thank you.
Now let's draw deeper into our present moment and into our worship.
Our opening words this morning are from Jason Cook. We seekers are on a quest to discover truth and meaning. Sometimes we think we found it, wrapped up, glimmering with newness, straight off the intellectual assembly line. All the answers right here for us, and others, if they only listen. But truth has a way of coming in disguise, sometimes wearing rags, sometimes finery, but so often cloaked from our immediate sight, and sometimes that which we have rejected, that which we have let go of, or decided was only for others, but not us. This truth can be our teacher. Let our time of worship be an acknowledgement of the never-ending journey toward truth and meaning, and our appreciation of those we learn from along the way. I now invite our children, youth, and any adults who would like to come forward for Together Time.
My childhood about a time that I was not a very good brother. In our family, my parents had 2 children. I was the first, and then my sister, Susan, came second. She's 2 years younger. We got along pretty well, still do, as a matter of fact. There was one thing that happened from time to time that was not my fault, but bothered her, and that is, I would get to do something, like ride my bike to the neighborhood pool. And when Sue said that she wanted to do that, my parents often said, no. And she would say, why? And they would say, because you are 2 years younger and a girl. Well, this was 60-some years ago, right? But anyway. And again, that's not my fault, you know? That's not my fault. But I'll tell you something that really was my fault. So, being a big brother, I would sometimes tease my younger sister. That's sort of my job, right? And mostly it was pretty benign. But there was a time that I started doing something that eventually became sort of mean. And that is, I would hide behind something in the house. Maybe behind the sofa, or maybe behind a doorway. And when Sue came by, I would jump out and scare her. I thought it was great fun. She didn't. And I kept doing it, even though, honestly, I was old enough to know better. But I kept doing it. And the more I did it, the more anxious she became. When is he going to do it next? And the more upset she would get when I did it, which of course was the point of me doing it, right? Eventually, there was a day when I went into her bedroom and hid in her closet, okay? And there were 2 doors in the closet. I closed the doors. I could peek out in the gap between the 2 doors. And I waited. And I waited. And I waited like a predator waiting for its prey. And eventually, Sue came in. She got about halfway across the room, and she froze because she could tell somehow that I was in the closet. And she said, Gary, don't jump out and scare me. And I waited. And she said, with higher anxiety, Gary, please don't jump out and scare me. And I waited. And then with heightened anxiety and beginning to cry a little bit, she said, Gary, please don't jump out and scare me. So, if I were a loving, kind, and empathetic brother, what should I have done? Anybody have a suggestion? Anybody little have a suggestion? Anybody big have a suggestion? Do you have a suggestion? Calm down and took deep breaths. Yes, yes, that would have been a good thing.
Doggy. We're on the
Well, it occurred to me later that one thing she could have done is looked at the closet and said, Gary, you doofus, you can stay in the closet as long as you want. I'm going to go play with the dog. Okay, but she froze. So, of course, what did I do? I jumped out, and I scared her. And she started to cry. And I felt terrible. I think I learned a lesson that day, grew up a little bit. And so there's a question. Have you guys ever done something that you knew that you really shouldn't do, but you wanted to do, and so you did it anyway? Did that ever happen? I'm seeing the adults go like this. No, turning around, have you ever not done something that you were supposed to do? Some task, chore, whatever. And yeah, okay. So part of growing up is learning that we need to do what we're supposed to do, and we shouldn't do what we're not supposed to do. And I can tell you that we never stop learning those lessons. I can also tell you that if you do something that makes you feel bad enough, you will remember it for the rest of your life. So, thank you for listening to my confession.
Each month, our congregation selects a local organization that takes action on issues in alignment with our UUCP mission, and we share our offering each Sunday. This gives you an opportunity to learn about the organization, reflect on your level of interest and appreciation for what they are doing, and act to support them, either by donating to the offering in service or online, or by finding out more about them, perhaps to volunteer or consider another way of contributing to their work. It is an opportunity to learn, reflect, and act. Service is our prayer and one way of being centered in social justice. For January, our Share the Plate partner is Lutheran Social Services of the Southwest. Lutheran Social Services of the Southwest covers a broad spectrum of needs: aging and disability services, family and community services, public policy advocacy, and refugee and immigration services. In January, we are targeting our offering to refugee and immigration services, where over the past few years, we have partnered to provide teams of UUCP members and friends to welcome and assist newly arrived refugees as they settle here in Arizona. For all that you give, we're so grateful. Ushers, thank you for your willing hands in helping us pass the plate.
We recognize that our lives are interconnected. Part of our journey as a community is sharing our significant milestones, joys, and sorrows. If you're on Zoom, you can put a note in the chat. If you are in person and want us to read your joy or sorrow next week, fill out a card before service at the small table in the back of the sanctuary. And I have a few from in person today, and I'll look at the chat to see if any show up there. From Katura and Tai, a joy, celebrating Eden for being recognized as her classroom caring and kindness ambassador for this semester. Aw, isn't that lovely? Yay. From Victoria, sharing a sorrow about another. Liz Merchant shares a sorrow from Atlanta. She broke her leg, is recovering in a rehab hospital, and is being well cared for by her Atlanta relatives. She misses her UU community. Let's send her healing vibes to Liz. And Victoria has Liz's address for cards if anyone would like to reach out to her that way as well too. And then from the Lifshitz family, a joy. We are so excited that Collins' football team, University of Wisconsin River Falls, won the national championship last week. Go Falcons. And I'm not seeing anything show up in the chat. May our joys and sorrows, those named and those held in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts, help us draw closer and care for each other.
I invite you into a time of meditation and reflection. Take a moment to settle your body. Take a few breaths and be here in the present moment. I share here the poem "The Road Leads On" by Edwin Muir. Friend, I have lost the way. The way leads on. Is there another way? The way is one. I must retrace the track. It's lost and gone. Then I'll make here my place. The road leads on. Stand still and set my face. The road leads on. Stay here, forever stay. None stays here, none. I cannot find the way. The way leads on. Oh, the places I have passed. That journey's done. And what will come at last? The road leads on. Let's take a few moments for silence. Amen and blessed be.
Our middle hymn is a Buddhist mantra set to music. There are a few melodies. They actually sing a different melody at Plum Village, but this is a melody that was written by a UU minister and ended up in our hymnal and is well known here. It wishes for love and kindness, and each verse is for you kind of think on it differently, as the Buddhists do, often starting with yourself and then expanding your circle of love outward. So the first verse is wishing for yourself. May I be filled with loving kindness. Feel free to stand if you want, but you're also welcome to sit in meditation. May I be filled with loving kindness. picture in your mind someone who you care about, who you would like to think about, your care and your love for them, and we'll sing, "May you be filled with loving kindness." May you be filled with loving verse, we sing, "May we be filled." And so you can open your circle of caring as wide as you wish, either imagining a group or a family or someone who it's a little harder to care about. It's up to you. Here we go. May we be filled. Thank you all.
I can't do this as well as Bill. I just can't. Okay, thank you. Years ago, when I was working towards a master's degree in organizational development, one of my professors, Brenda Jones, told me that my empathy level bordered on artistic. While flattered, I had no real idea of what she meant. I understood the definitions of empathy, the action of understanding, being aware of, being sensitive to, and vicariously experiencing the feelings, thoughts, and experiences of another. At the time, Michelle was working as a psychoanalyst, and she knew a lot of different people in different subspecialties of the field. I had the opportunity to talk to one of her colleagues about empathy who was deemed a subject matter expert. While he explained the definition and the significance of empathy and cleared up a misperception of the concept that I had lasered into my psyche from an episode of the old Star Trek series entitled The Empath, that melodramatically got stuff about empathy correct while at the same time exaggerated for entertainment purposes. What I've learned on my own journey towards sharing empathy with more people is that the amount of love I receive as a result is exponential, and that I have never been harmed from being too empathetic. So, if it's perceived that I laugh too loud, often, or hug too hard, with consent, of course, in my empathic experience, I've gotten to know folks deeper and quicker. And while it might have something to do with my perspective and vantage point, knowing that there's less runway in front of me than behind, and in my dedicated struggle against becoming a curmudgeon, empathy is almost a default setting in my brain. The only way that it will work for me is to share it unconditionally with as many people as I can, not like the character portrayed on Star Trek, more like as a fortunate spouse or son who has celebrated the life and deaths of both my parents, or as the father of 2 wonderful daughters, or as the proud pop-pop of 3 incredible daughters. My life experience with empathy allows me to enjoy vicariously the deep joys and pernicious sorrow of life from a myriad of perspectives, and to always, always remember that we're all humaning together to the best of our ability.
Thank you, Sam. So, today wasn't really a choir day, but at the last minute I wanted an anthem that needed some help, and so I'm very grateful to some choir folks who came in and got this ready. This is a song called Do What Must Be Done. It's by a singer named Greg Greenway, who's very active in the UU congregations and camps in the southeast, I believe, the East Coast. And the chorus is fun, so, you know, if you pick it up by the second time, please sing along with us. It's called Do What Must Be Done. Well, I learned as a child there's two ways to see the world as it is and the way it could be. Some people say that's just not my problem. Some people do what must be done. Well, they see the hole in the fabric that must be sewn. They see the way blockaded and they roll back the stone. They see the day beyond the horizon and they do what must be done. Well, some people do what must be done. Well, they do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon and they do what must be done. Well, I've seen the toll taken, the tears that were shed. I've seen the journey started and the ripples spread. And still people say, that's just not my problem. But some people do what must be done. Well, they see the hole in the fabric that must be sewn. They see the way blockaded and they roll back the stone. They see the day beyond the horizon and they do what must be done. They do. Some people do what must be done. Well, they do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon and they do what must be done. Some people do. Well, some people do what must be done. Well, they do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon and they do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon and they do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon and they do what must be done. Thank you all.
Last October, on Pride Sunday, I gave a reflection about the emotion of pride. In it, I said that I am proud of my two children, not only for their accomplishments, but also more importantly, because they are people of good character. And I've been thinking now about what it means to be a person of good character. What are the characteristics of good character? We don't talk about that much directly in our UU culture, and I think we should. And let me explain. Until 2024, our Unitarian Universalist Association affirmed and promoted a set of 7 principles, each expressed as a sentence. The first was the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And the 7th was respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part. I could always remember those 2, and sometimes some of the others, but I agreed with all of them. They were adopted in 1987 and were supposed to be revised every 15 years. It didn't happen straight away. It took longer than that. And I think one of the reasons that they wanted to change it was because it was beginning to sound too much like a creed. And we don't do creeds, we do covenants. But in 2024, after a multi-year process, with lots of discussions, lots of votes, that's the UU way, these principles were replaced by 6 shared values: interdependence, pluralism, justice, transformation, generosity, and equity, all centered around love. You have likely seen the graphic that illustrates this. Now, each word comes with a description and a call to action. For example, pluralism. We celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. And then the call to action is, we covenant to learn from each other in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. Okay, this is all good. And these 6 shared values are easier to remember, perhaps, than the 7 principles, especially because they are single words, and especially because you can arrange the first letters of those words to spell jet pig. It works. Justice, equity, transformation, plurality, interdependence, and generosity. Jet pig. I was really glad when that was pointed out to me. It's really helped. However, this gets to the nub of what I think we are missing. These are all collective values, values that we want to describe our society, both in our own congregation and more broadly in the society in which we live. We want it to be a just society. We want it to be a society that embraces transformation, pluralism, etc. And it certainly means that we as individuals should share those values also. But are there more fundamental values that these collective values should build on? What kind of people should we be so that we can create a society that has those values that we say are important? To use an older term, what personal virtues might we consider to be foundational to being a good person, a person of good character? Is there anything like a set of virtues that can be the foundation for a society that is loving, just, and pluralistic? You could consider the question more or less negatively as boundaries, like on old maps. Beyond there be monsters. Or you could consider the question more positively. What is the ground from which the society we want can grow? What do we plant so that we get a garden and not weeds? So here's an example. Honesty. To me, that is fundamental. A person of good character needs to be an honest person, someone you can count on to tell the truth. It is certainly fundamental to science. You don't fudge the data or leave out data that is inconvenient, but it's much more broad than that. It's true of life in general. We need people who will speak truth to power. We want to live with trustworthy people. And even more basic is being committed to being honest with yourself. Failing to do that is the first step on the slippery slope. Now, in my own life, there have been times that I have acted in ways that were hurtful and wrong. But in each of those cases, I first convinced myself that what I was doing was right. I was justified. And I wasn't. As Shakespeare wrote, "This above all to thine own self be true, and then as follows night the day, thou canst not be false to any man." So, shouldn't one of our shared individual values and virtues be honesty? Now, I am partial to the word virtue in this context. A value is something I hold dear. A virtue is a characteristic that I display. So I'm going to use the word virtue. Now, the idea of individual virtues or basic expectations is a very, very old one. Think of the Ten Commandments. Some are stated positively. Honor your father and your mother. Some are stated as prohibitions. Do not steal, kill, or commit adultery. These are commandments about individual behavior that support a stable society. Now, sidebar, there's an old joke that UUs believe in 6 of the 10 commandments. And everybody gets to choose which 6. Now, some form of the golden rule appears in every religious tradition: treat others as you wish to be treated. Now, that's an instruction directed to individuals that collectively would create a better society than we've ever seen. Need a drink. Aristotle and Plato wrote about virtues, as did the Roman Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca. They described 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, the ability to discern what is truly good, bad, and indifferent, making decisions aligned with reason; justice, treating others fairly and with respect, acting for the common good; temperance, self-control and moderation, maintaining balance in emotions and behavior; and courage, physical and moral courage, endurance in the face of hardships, willingness to do what is right, even when it is difficult. So, I was wondering if there might be a set of individual virtues that we might agree are important and would lead to the collective behavior that we want to see in our society. Now, we won't all agree, of course, and certainly not quickly. The UUA Commission worked for 4 years, and I've only been thinking about this for a few weeks, and I'm a committee of 1. But I gave it a go, and to make this even more challenging, I decided to use that same floral motif of 6 petals with something in the center. Whoops. Water, that's all. I left the beer at home. So, that's what we're going to fill out. Now, people are complicated creatures, and there are lots of potential virtues. But as with the 10 Commandments, we're going to do 6. So, here we go. First one is honesty. I've already described why I pick honesty. I should be honest, especially with myself. Next, humility. It goes along with honesty. I acknowledge that I am limited and fallible, and I should respect others' decisions and choices. Now, I recognize the irony here. Am I being humble, standing up here and telling you all how to behave? Well, take this as suggestions from a very fallible person. Okay, next, courage. I should face challenges and hardships and be willing to do what is right, even when it's difficult. And next, empathy. I should try to understand other people and their feelings and relieve their suffering, however much I can. And then patience. I should take time to decide how to act and think long-term, beyond the immediate moment. And for number 6, curiosity. There is more about this world and people than I will ever know, so I should be open and explore. Now, a word about courage. C.S. Lewis described courage as not simply one of the virtues, but a form of every virtue at its testing point, when doing what is right has a cost. Principles are most important when they're difficult to follow. Courage is as important as honesty. So, now these are the 6 that I picked. I really want a few more petals, but these have merit. A person with these characteristics will, in the words of our anthem, see the day beyond the horizon and do what must be done. Now, what to put in the center? Well, it could be love. I don't think necessarily it's the best choice to tie these 6 together. It's easy to see how love connects to empathy. But is it a stretch to see it as the basis for courage? Well, it could be if you recognize that love is not just passive, but can and should demand action. But honestly, partially just to be different. I looked for an alternative to love. Now, reaching back to my childhood, I mostly learned what good character is by watching my parents. But scouting was also a big influence. I joined Cub Scouts when I was about 6 and stayed with it into my teens. Now, what was appropriate for me as a boy in the 1950s and 60s doesn't totally fit now, of course. But the very beginning of the Scout Oath is relevant here. On my honor, I will do my best. So, honor. Now, honor may be a difficult word for some. It's been used to justify many dishonorable actions sometimes. And it has connotations of battle, perhaps. But I choose to go with the positive connotations. We address judges as your honor, as a show of respect for the court and for the judiciary in general. And it goes back to the time when judges were chosen from the community. People chose judges who displayed wisdom and could be trusted to be unbiased and honest. To honor is to show respect to someone who is admired and who displays high moral standards of behavior. Now, that kind of honor is bestowed. But I really mean honor here to be something internal to a person, how they view themselves. A person with a strong sense of honor holds themselves to high standards of behavior. They don't do what they know they shouldn't, and they do what they know they should, even when it has a cost, especially when there's a cost. Sometimes it is a battle. A person of good character is an honorable person. A person who is honest, humble, empathetic, courageous, curious, and patient is an honorable person. My children are people of good character. They are honorable people, and I am proud of them. Now, whether or not you would pick these particular virtues as defining good character, I hope I've made my point that if we want to build a society that shares the values of justice, equity, transformation, interdependence, plurality, and generosity, all centered on love, then we need people who individually display some fundamental virtues. We should talk about virtues. We should teach them to our children. We should expect them in each other and hold ourselves and certainly our leaders accountable to them. We and they should be honorable people, people of good character. Do I demonstrate these characteristics? Not always, for sure. It is hard. But on my honor, I try to do my best. May it be so.
Thank you, Gary. All right, we close with the last song. It's number 1028 in the hymnal, The Fire of Commitment. And it's another wordy one. Feel free to rise in body or spirit.
service ends. Yep.
After service ends, noon activities, including our children's ministries program, will be including our children's ministries programming, will be listed on the screen. Please join us for coffee hour and food and refreshments in our community space just across the patio. Gary, please close our service.
These words come from Marcus Aurelius. To live each day as if it were your last, never speeding up or slowing down or trying to be anything but what you are. This is perfection of character. Go in peace, go in love.
I got it.
You got it?
I got this too.